Hey YouTube, coming at you with the Great League Battle from ASM Khan, who wrote, first of all, I hate Talonflame and also there are too many flyers nowadays. Therefore, I need a team which is very strong against flying typing. The only challenge with this team is handling Bullet Seed Credilli, except that's one Pokemon my team played pretty well, and it's pretty easy to use. Marowak is very strong with Shield Advantage, so I chose two bulky, spammy Pokemon. I am playing GBL for about 5 months. Each season, my goal is ace ranked, and I've hit it with this team. So, uh, yeah, so you have two rollout users. So for the Flyers, obviously Marowak is not great against Flyers in general. It does have Rock Slide for coverage, but generally still not great against Flyers. Um, but then you have two rollout users, which will hit super effective against most Flyers, except for like I was gonna say Skarmory, but Corviknight. And then you can spam with some of these other moves, Hydro Cannon, Body Slam, or Shadow Ball if Body Slam is resisted. And then Marowak with Shield Advantage. You don't really need Shield as much for the other Pokemon. So makes sense. Credilli is your kind of recognize the weakness there. But let's check it out. So Charizard right off the bat. There is your equivalent there. Drapion comes in. Nice instant swap. You will live one Aqua Tail for sure. Gonna shield. You don't. Again, you could shield up one. You will live one. Again, not worrying about timing there. Just going to get the move off. This will likely grab a shield back. They may try and get one shield from you. Again, you don't need to shield. Opting to shield twice. Kind of surprising when you have a Licky Licky and a Blastoise that can both hit super effective. And now, yeah, see, these are some of the things that right off the bat you can kind of see. Like, okay, this has got some ace tendencies here. Like throwing that and they give up switch, so you should be like getting into Charizard like Blastoise immediately. Like they give up switch. There's no reason to stay in with your Mudslap user here. You should be instant swapping, especially when you have a Licky. One, they're switch locked, and two, you also have a Licky Licky that hits super effective with the rollout. So you do take it out, but that seems more like a sacrifice. Now they're gonna have, of course, they're gonna have a grass in the back to counter Charizard's weakness. And by staying in that matchup, I mean the grass would have been tougher. Marowak too. Don't get me wrong. But just staying in that matchup, burning those shields early in the matchup, just kind of leave yourself vulnerable. I think Hydro Cannon's right. Just try and chip with whatever you can. Licky Licky, try to body slam the rest of it out. Okay, you may be able to, I was going to say Shadow Ball it out. This Force Palm is really adding up quick on a Licky Licky, which is a normal typing. So Body Slam not going to be enough. Breloom is very glassy, but holy smokes. And they just over farm way too much. You definitely should not have gotten this move off. They definitely have a move come here. I don't know why they did not throw. So yeah, that was more of your opponent throwing than anything there. Scizor, this is an okay matchup. Bullet Punch is resisted. Now, Hydro's basically going to one-shot. That was too quick, so that's just a Night Slash. You let this go. Ah. Oh, freak. Okay, first, Night Slash, if they don't get to 14, which is the Trailblaze, you let that Night Slash go. One, because it won't take out. Two, you need to worry about the Trailblaze. Three, in this case, you need to worry about it. Them getting to a boosted move. They boosted the first time there. So now you're just potentially going to get outpaced here. 12.99. Maybe not. Maybe you're going to outpace here. Yeah, you know what? 12.99, you do outpace because it's 30 versus 30 versus 30? 21. Yeah, it's 30 versus 30. Maybe on like the timing there, that's maybe one reason you got to it. I don't know. But either way, do get to it. I don't like staying in the matchup just to throw a resisted Hydro to then come in here. You then leave your sort of Marowak pretty vulnerable. Body Slam is resisted, so you have to go Skull Bash. I'm sorry, Shadow Ball here versus the Credilli. You know, it is an acid Credilli, but you kind of need the Shadow Ball to land, and it does. That's pretty big. But I think you're still pretty in trouble here. They farmed up a lot. They may be close to a second Grass Knot, and you still have that Azumarill to deal with. Trying to one turn. I was going to say, when were these matches done? Trying to make sure you don't one turn leg there. That's why you reset the thing like that. But do get hit with the Grass Knot. Azumarill can now just basically bubble down. Lives, especially from a non-shadow. It'll live 2 Bone Clubs too, so they do not need to worry about any of this. Blastoise comes in, and then you kind of recognize, yeah, you're screwed. Okay, there's your Credilli right off the bat. Hope it's Acid. It is Bullet Seed. So getting to the Hydro, you know, fine chip. Take the move. Yeah, you're CMP'd there. So you can shield. You may just want to instant swap to Licky Licky right away, especially with the Rock Tomb. Yeah, that's fine. They're going to come in with Medi, which is unfortunate, but you do have a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is super effective, but Medi hitting super effective with those counters. So Shadow Ball does land. That's very quick, which means it's just a Power Up Punch, which, no, man, you are, Dynamic, it's a Psycho Cut. Okay. Sorry, my bad. I thought Medi would just come in and counter, but Psycho Cut is an option. So actually a good shield on the Dynamic Punch, because that would have been a hard-hitting move. I was just like, whoa, that's way too quick for a counter to anything. But not with a Psycho Cut. Bastiodon, why would they give up Switch? So Bastiodon comes in, trying to put some pressure on that last shield. The only thing I would say is one does not take out, as you can see here. They need to go Flamethrower there, and you need to just farm. And I think you needed to farm even more than this. I think you're going to be okay, but I think next time just like take the one move, over farm right at the beginning, and then you maybe come out with 2 moves there if you over farmed a bunch. And that would allow you to actually take this matchup, because you could have spammed twice. Hydro will hit here. I don't know if it takes out, and if it doesn't, you may want to just instant swap into the Licky to not take a move here. Your heads up going to do that, and then you could have Shadow Balled, but they top left. Dunsparce. Neutral-ish. We play this matchup out. So getting to the Hydro, they'll get to a non-stab drill run. I've got to imagine advantage Blastoise. Hydro Cannon is just such a good move. You both have bulk, but Hydro Cannon is just a great move, and non-stab drill runs should not. Well, you know what? That did more than I expected it to. That really did more than I expected it to. I did not expect a non-stab drill run to do that, basically the same, almost equivalent as a Hydro did to a Dunsparce, because you're both going to be in the deep red here. And you're both spamming at about the same pace here. And you both try and catch. They tried to catch on a Jumpluff. You tried to catch on a Licky Licky. Nice to see the Jumpluff on the Licky Licky and not the Marowak, because that would be a pretty tough matchup. Going Body Slams here. I don't even know. Shielding up an Energy Ball. You are fascinating. Because you have said in your write-up, I want to pair Marowak with bulky Pokemon, because Marowak with shield advantage is very, very strong. And yet I've seen you drop shields on Licky almost every single time here. So if you got a strategy, I would say use it. Because you're fighting for Switch here. For what? Typhlosion comes in. This is fine. The only concern is if you come back in Blastoise. Where do you even go here? Okay, they're dumping. I think you come Marowak, because if they have Thunder Punch, they're going to be close to that and you don't want to take that on the Blastoise. So you come just Marowak. I think you let this go and just save the shield for the potential Blast Burn. And then just commit the shield and just farm down here. You don't even need to throw. No. Yep, that's right. Hypno. We are in 2000 ELO range now. Timing's off on that one. So fast move timing, again, in the 2000 range, you need to worry about fast move timing as much? No. But just for your FYI, when you threw random weight when you got to Hydro, that's 12. Their confusion is also 12. So you let them get a full confusion through, And because you let them get a full confusion through, they just took you out when they probably should not have. So your fast move timing absolutely cost you that first matchup. Ideally, you throw it on 1, which you didn't have energy, so you would have thrown it on 5 for the next one. 5 rollouts is 15 versus 4 confusions is 16. That minimizes their energy, and with that, you would not have been taken out. Now, you are down 2 shields and switch, which is an insanely bad position to be in. Vigoroth comes in, so absolutely need to just stand this matchup and spam and try and take this out. Because, man, Licky does not want to see this. But this is definitely a mountain to climb. I would not be doing this either. Well, you know what? Maybe you do want to do this to try and save Marowak, knowing that a body slam to a Marowak does a lot more than a body slam to Licky, even though the counters are adding up here. You're going to CMP lose here. Yeah. You just got to have a sort of, again, I don't count most times, but I've got a internal clock that says this is going to be pretty close to a CMP here. Right back into the Marowak, but unfortunately versus Skarmory, so this will not matter at all. Skarmory's going to only neutral to rock. It's going to probably take like 3 to take it out. They just shield anyways. Yeah, that's top left. Honestly, the fast move time in the front game completely changed the outcome of that game. They're both 3-turn moves, so it does not matter. When you throw, going to get outpaced here because this thing goes 9996 as opposed to 12999. Hydro is a harder hitting move, but Dusclops is so bulky. Hopefully 2 takes it out. We'll see. Nope. Which means you're then screwed essentially, because if this does not take out, they're just going to outpace you to the 3rd move here. So they live. You know, you could try and catch on Licky. Like 1 and catch. Instead, they're probably close to a 4th move, so just be aware of that. Yeah. Do catch on the Licky as they are at the 4th move. So saving some energy, catching the resisted move. The only concern with this, obviously they're going to have somewhat of an answer for normal. A steal is 1. You tap so close on the bottom right there. I feel like you almost press body slam. And now you're tapping so close on the left side, but at least Shadow Ball is where you want to go. And opting to shield, worried that the Marowak is not going to like this, which is true, but Mud Slap is neutral. So I feel like you could have maybe saved the shields for it. You're losing CMP here. And now the problem is they're going to have a little, before you take this out, they're going to have energy and get another power whip off. So you have to maybe try and catch and sacrifice. Almost a mistake there, but do have a Hydro. Hopefully Hydro's enough because you have 2 of them. Yeah, hopefully Hydro's enough and they just try and overfarm. If it's not, they're going to have a power whip coming out and you're screwed. And you're screwed. We'll have a power whip. This will be super effective. If it doesn't take you out because you're non-shadow, it's going to put you in like the deep red. Okay, just about the red. And they come back in just to get taken down. And oh my goodness. They come back in just to give you the extra Mud Slap you need to get to the Rock Slide, to hit a double super effective move on a Talonflame, to then take it out. Oh, if they just came in with the Talonflame, they would have you would have lost that matchup. Honestly, I have no idea what Farfetch has as moves. Leaf Blade. That's unfortunate. So it has Leaf Blade. It's a fighter, so Licky doesn't want to see this either. The problem with rollout users is rollout is resisted. Hope they don't know timing. Okay, they catch on Arcanid. That's okay. Come Licky so you don't get farmed down. Okay. Licky. Rollout is super effective, and more importantly, the ground is resisted up by bugs. So not even a decision here. The only decision is Body Slam versus Shadow Ball. And I feel like probably the right move to go Body Slam here because it did get rebuffed and you do get same type attack bonus on it. I know Shadow Ball obviously hits more. Slightly less than the damage per energy. 55 for 100 for Shadow Ball, 35 for 66 with same type attack bonus. So out damage per energy. The Body Slam has a better. Let's try and use words here. The Body Slam has a better damage per energy, 1.89 versus the Shadow Ball 1.82. So obviously it's one of those. If you're only going to get one move off Shadow Ball, there's an argument. Yeah, you can just spam the Body Slams in these situations here. But with the Leaf Blade, really tough. And then they make a nice catch here on their Araquanid, which will take a resisted Bone Club. I hope they don't get to a move, but not that it matters. You're pretty much in trouble here. They come back in here, do get the Bone Club off, but you are so low on both. And it's an Aurorus in the back. So this thing will just out spam you. Not that it matters. I don't even think a Shadow Ball takes out from this range. Okay, I think a couple more battles here. And then I'll give you some like tips at the ending here. Dunsparce. Again, we've seen this one. Again, I'm surprised by it, but you do win, I think, CMP here. So I think it's overall an okay matchup. So here comes the first Hydro. Here comes the first drill run. I was going to say, what are they going to CMP you here? Here comes the first drill run. And does take you to the yellow. And they catch on Scrapped, which is okay. This Hydro will be a nice chip, and then it's an instant swap into Marowak. Do get to another move. Yeah, I was going to say Marowak just because Rollout is resisted, but you do get to another Hydro here, which will put some pressure on. Now getting into the Marowak here. Yeah, you know, this one's tricky. Foul play with shield advantage, I would shield. This is why you don't shield, though. This thing could run Power Punch. It can run Thunder Punch. It can run Foul Play. So I wouldn't want to take a Foul Play from this thing. But if it baits you with the Power Punch, you need to save shields for now. Later, if it's another Power Punch, okay. If it's Foul Play, they're just... Yeah, get this out of here. When they boost... When you have Counter, which is a higher damage move, and they have boosted it twice with the Power Punches, screw fast move timing, screw over farming, get that Pokemon out of here. So Dunsparce comes in and worried that you were not going to get to the rock slide before they take you out, which I think you could have, quite honestly. But the Blastoise coming in and just roll out, and Hydro will just absolutely delete this. So goodbye Talonflame, and you still have a Licky Licky, and you don't even need it because these Hydros, because Blastoise lives these rollouts and gets to a Hydro here, and we'll take out Blastoise. I didn't use it that much during the weekend. This is a okay matchup. I've played it out multiple times. Again, you're so close to the Hydro. It's making me uncomfortable. There's you could shield the first play rough. So I often do. Instead, giving up Switch. I'm really surprised you're giving up Switch here. Skull Bash does about 50%. If you shield up the first play rough and the bubbles are resisted, you will kind of easily take that matchup. So what I often do when I play that matchup out is I shield up the first play rough. I get the Skull Bash off to boost my defense. And then you can just go kind of straight Skull Bash to take it out. And then once you land one, if the second one doesn't take out, you can basically take it out with a Hydro or rollouts after. But giving up Switch, they do not get out. You know, you could just basically sacrifice this. And you are... could just come back in Blastoise. Yeah, you're already at 100 energy, so don't overfarm anything here. Just start throw and stuff. And unfortunately, that throw is into a dragon that resists this move. So instant swap. And it is a Sableye. So you are essentially going to have to double shield this thing. And the foul plays come at 10 now. So it's going to be with the advantage, you should be okay to get to the third move. The problem is they're going to burn both shields and then potentially be very close to a move already on the Giratina. I still think you have to shield. I can see you trying to snipe the Blastoise, which I think is smart. The extra rollout was not smart. You need to snipe that with the Hydro right away. Luckily, Giratina is a Shadow, and it's still a Hydro Cannon. So this is the third Hydro Cannon, and Giratina does not want to see 3 Hydro Cannons in the Great League. They're trying to commit to the farm down, which I think is smart because now they're going to come out with a move to absolutely smack this. If it's Dragon Claw, it's going to put you basically out. Couple HP. Can you get to a move here? You can, which is huge. Yeah, I think the overall was pretty smart. That one extra rollout coming in, but I think you're overall pretty smart on that one. Okay, so your 2000 ELO player. The first battles, I think there's a few things that were obvious. Like your fast move timing's not there at all. I think you had a strategy to shield Marowak, and you often shielded Liquid. And here's the thing. There are times where you have a game plan, but you got to throw that game plan out the window. So I'm fine with shielding Licky Blastoise if it makes sense that, I'm against something that's weak to roll out. I have a Blastoise. I could throw a Hydro, or I can just roll out down, shield up a move, and come out with like 100 energy. So I have like 2.5 Hydros. Like that's a decision I make. Like, yeah, it makes sense to shield Blastoise in this scenario. So you can throw that out the window. You just got to think about like your win con game plan, stuff like that. You seem to jump around more than I would like to see to a certain extent. I mentioned this multiple times if you've been on this channel for a while. There are 3 things that cause you to win GBL matchups: energy advantage, shield advantage, and switch advantage. And you need to figure out what is the best way to win the game based on those. So whenever you are in a neutral lead, like the Azumarill is a perfect matchup. When you are in an Azumarill lead, in my mind, it does not make any sense to get out of an absolutely neutral lead and give up one of your 3 win cons, because switch is like a huge advantage in this game, right? That's why some people put like Pokemon that can just like lower your attack multiple times to force you out and like overshield, have like a Dugong or a whatever Pidgeot back in the day that can lower your attack on the lead and force you out, because forcing someone out is very valuable in GBL. So to give that up willingly, I don't love. Not saying it's the wrong move, but it's sort of the wrong move. And it's a wrong move in like a neutral team in a neutral lead, in my opinion. But yeah, otherwise keep grinding. The Credilli weakness is, you can see there. If you have a Shadow Blastoise, having played both Blastoise and Shadow Blastoise, 2 Hydro Cannons from a non-Shadow Blastoise do not take out a Credilli, but two Hydro Cannons from a Shadow Blastoise do take out the Credilli. So that is one thing that you can consider if you want to adjust your team. But I do think Blastoise non-Shadow is better. You just give up a lot of bulk in some of the other matchups. And at that point, if you're using like a more glassy Hydro Cannon user, I probably just use like Shadow for Alligator. But those are just my thoughts. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.